Yo, what's up guys? I just want to do a quick update to show you where we're at with the Warlock tank, as well as the best specs that we've seen so far for DPS and tanking, both in Season of Discovery. So if we just take a look right here, this is my tank. Currently in raid, it looks like the best DPS spec is actually 5 Cata, 5 Bane, 2 improved Firebolt, and 1 in Shadowburn for movement. And then we actually go improved Imp. And what makes this worth it is Lake of Fire Weaving, as well as you take Incinerate and Chaos Bolt. So basically, before you do your Incinerates or your Chaos Bolts or your Immolate or anything like that, you're going to put up a 1 tick of Lake of Fire, get that 40% debuff on the enemy for you and your Imp. And what makes this so fun for Imp is that you have, improved Imp, so there's 30% more damage coming from your Imp, as well as the 1 second faster Firebolt. So if you have the mana pool, this build is actually insanity. I'll link some Warcraft logs in the description of the video so you guys can take a look. This build does a ton of damage. It's all straight fire damage. The only issue is that mana is going to be your biggest problem. If you have large mana pots, if you have the gold to afford that, or if you have pumpers in your group and you're going to be dumping the boss down real fast, that's the build to go. Another viable DPS build that I was running earlier this week is actually 5 Cata, 5 Bane, 5 Devastation, and then Shadowburn for movement. When I say that, I mean you just cast Shadowburn while you're moving, repositioning in a boss fight, whatever. But the 5 Cata, 5 Bane, 5 Devastation, and 1 in Shadowburn is another solid spec if you don't want to weave Lake of Fire. And even with that other spec, you can still weave Lake of Fire if the fight is short enough or if you have the mana for it. But this Imp build is nuts. In the other build, you'd want to use your Succubus. There still might be some times even with this build you'd want to use Succubus. Fights where your Imp's not living very long. Make sure you train rank 3 Firebolt too. Just, go to the Demon Trainer, buy it. Now for tanking, which is what I've been doing, I actually found that you can tank in this spec no issue. We've done BFD, no issue. Healers said it wasn't too bad to heal through. Instead of Lake of Fire though, you just swap out Demonic Tactics or Soul Siphon, or not Soul Siphon, Demonic Tactics or Master Channeler. This makes it work out pretty well. Master Channeler is really, really good. Makes your drain life an instant dot. You just put that on whatever you're fighting. It's a really good threat because you're getting damage threat and healing threat, and it kind of lessens the need of your healers as much. It's pretty darn good. I prefer Incinerate because Demonic Grace kind of mid. Survivability is not that bad right now in BFD, so I don't see us needing Demonic Grace right now. Especially if you have a priest healing you, you're not going to need Demonic Grace. Just go Incinerate so you can pull with it or whatever, do more damage. Because more damage equals more threat. I also run, of course, Metamorphosis here. You can swap in Lake of Fire if you really want to. There's no point. I wouldn't do it. But you could if you wanted to. Now the spec for true tanking, I'll put a link underneath it with Crix's video. But essentially you go 5 out of 5 corruption, 5 out of 5 drain life. These two are huge for your threat. So you get instant corruption, instant drain life. If you're not running this build and you're off tanking for your raid, you can just run your DPS build, to be honest. And then you just hard cast corruption at the beginning of the fight. You'll be totally fine. You can also, if you've talented into instant corruption, you're doing AoE pulls, you could do Everlasting Affliction, which is the rune that every time you use your Shadow Cleave, it will re-up the amount of time that your corruption stays on the boss or whatever you're pulling, which would probably be BIS for AoE pulls, but whatever. It's not really needed. That's the whole thing. What I'm trying to say here is, like, when you're tanking, threat's the biggest issue. Do more damage, get more threat. Healing is not an issue right now. Survivability on your Warlock tank is not an issue. I mean, you can see it right here. I have 2600 armor. It's 51% damage reduction, and that's just with meta and demon armor. It's stupid. It's actually dumb, the amount of damage reduction you have. But the BIS Warlock tanking build is 5 out of 5 corruption, 5 out of 5 drain life, 1 in suppression, so you hit cap your taunt. And then I believe they go into demonic embrace. It's something that was recommended, but from Crix, I don't really agree with it because healing's not that big of an issue. I would either do improved imp or go into cataclysm, just for less mana spend. But to be honest, cataclysm it's also not that good at level 25, because it's only 5%. So over the course of all of your casts, you're probably not saving too much when you can just life tap and get it back. So you could go, 5 here, 5 here, 1 there, and then throw 5 somewhere in here. You maybe do some improved imp, some demonic embrace, some 5 out of 5 demonic embrace if you want. Just kind of mix and match, see what works. If you want a more like in-depth tanking specific, like if you're going to be solo main tanking EFD, I'll leave the link to Crix's video below. But this is the build that I've been running. It's working really well. Cataclysm, Bane, Devastation, Shadowburn also worked really well when I was running that. I also tanked BFD with that build as well. But this one seems very promising, guys. 0313 is our new DPS build, and I'll tank with it this week, and I'll check it out with tanking. I don't think it's gonna be any issue at all. Tanking with this build, regardless. The only downfall is you have to hard cast corruption. But I will be running Master Channeler for instant drain life anyway. So, quick update. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys all so much for the support and the help. If you guys want to continue that support, click the subscribe button, or you can go over to twitch.tv/winky and click the follow button and tune in when I'm live. We'll be streaming a lot of SOD stuff. We'll be streaming a lot of hardcore WoW, all kinds of stuff. So appreciate you guys. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.